All right. Hello and well, good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the country. We'll get our webinar started here in just a minute. Um, we're just before the top of the hour, so we're seeing people still kind of populating in here. So going to give them a couple more minutes just to kind of get some last minute folks in, and we'll do our little lunchtime webinar here. How are you doing today, Brooke?
I'm doing well, or I think the holidays is catching up with my voice, but so I'm kind of coming to y'all with a little bit of a deeper uh, kind of holiday voice, I think, right now.
Hey,
But
I
other
like it. Brooke, I'm from the 80s, so a little Stevie Nicks, deep voice vibe. Man, I dig it.
That's honestly like the best compliment I've ever gotten because that's my queen. I have every Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks vinyl ever made,
It's great.
like literally. Kathleen Turner voice. Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I got somebody else in here from the 80s.
The flattery.
Flattery will get you everywhere, right, Brooke?
And then
Uh,
while we have y'all, make sure we have a lot of fun things that we're posting on our social media. So make sure to follow our AdCellerant up whether on LinkedIn or Instagram. We got a lot of fun things we've been posting these days.
yeah, the content, glad you brought that up, Brooke. Content's really been on point. Marketing team's doing a great job. Everything that they post in those channels is really useful and applicable to, our industry and our media partners. So yeah, love that suggestion. So okay, well, we are at the it's 12:01 Eastern, so probably time to get this party started. So Brooke, why don't you kick us off?
Yes, y'all. So we are doing our webinar is called It's Not Over Till It's Over. And that's going to be, getting a great start into Q5. So today's presenters is going to be me. Again, my name is Brooke Nevels. I'm a business development manager. And then we also have the legendary Ken Campbell, who is also a business development manager. And for those who are saying, like, what is Q5? Don't worry, we are going to go into it in just a second.
We are not time travelers. We have not created an alternate universe where there is another quarter, but we will explain.
Awesome. So just going to start us off with our, agenda for this meeting. So we're going to go over again what is Q5 and then leaning into your resources and what products you can get some last minute revenue on the books for to end 2024, some ones that have fast turnaround, as well as the importance of bringing in experts. And then we're going to finish off with hot Q1 verticals and strategies to start the year strong.
Yeah, good lineup here. So I'll kind of jump in, kind of I guess we call it paying the bills with a little commercial here for AdCellerant, kind of introduce who we are. So AdCellerant is a technology and marketing company with the goal of making kind of the complexity of the digital world simple. We really do that with a kind of end-to-end solution. So, we cover everything from, the technology side with an order management system, all the way through everything what you see on screen there, which is, really kind of world-class customer service and support, the educational piece that's so crucial in the digital space, be able to take these digital products on the street and be conversational with people. And then really I think the magic really of AdCellerant, our tech is really, really slick, but it's those human beings that are still so crucial to selling media into the marketplace. So it's that gigantic team of folks that we have that really support our partners. So, AdCellerant as a company, we are a Denver-based company. You can probably tell from the redneck accent here, I do not live in Denver. I live in South Carolina. Go Tigers. But as a company, again, we've really built an incredible solution for a media company. So really begins with Madison Avenue level quality in terms of our agency solution, that technology piece, crazy awards that just kind of roll in. It seems like every month. And then, again, that gigantic team of 200, almost 220 people that really support our partners. And that's really driven growth through our 500, almost 600 media partners around the country. So really, really great team behind us. really what we do, soup to nuts. This is kind of it, y'all. We provide what we believe now is probably the largest digital product deck out there. Our goal has always been over the last decade that we've grown to kind of stop with this fragmented world of, having to, for you guys as media salespeople, having to use three or four or five different vendors to be able to provide digital solutions to your customers. I mean, come on. We've really created a single marketplace here where you can do all those and execute those through us. And then again, my Venn diagram here on the right, really, guys, that this works for whatever industry. Like if you're in print, if you're in radio, if you're in TV, if you're in agency, you got to have sales enablement. You got to have somebody to execute the media product, and you got to be able to report on the results. This is really what we do end to end. So there you go. That's kind of AdCellerant in a nutshell. So again, the mystery. What is this mysterious Q5, Brooke? Please tell me. I'm on the edge of my seat.
I will tell you. So I know that every company kind of has their own version of what we call Q5, which really just means it's part of Q4, but that December timeframe where you are looking to really actually bring up the intensity, even though sometimes it seems it's easier to kick back. But that intensity, you can usually get things across the finish line to kind of get those retailers, everyone who has holiday ads that they're looking to run. And it is just the importance of really popping up the intensity to get those final dollars for y'all for 2024, but also setting yourself up. Q5 is also very important for setting yourself up for success in January. I think that seeds that are being planted in Q5, this part of December, are going to prevent slow beginnings once you come January versus you just kind of saying, oh, we'll start that in January. Those seeds need to be planted now.
Absolutely. Well, and I tell you what I'll add to that, Brooke, and this is the reason I love this, like even calling it Q5. Like sometimes you got to speak things into existence, right? Out here in the sales world, like we got to talk ourselves into it. I come from the newspaper business, and crazy mad rush up through Thanksgiving into the holiday season. You're selling to all these retailers in your local markets. And then in the newspaper business, we always called it like the holiday lull, right? But man, if you think about it that way, if you think about it as a lull, we do tend to like sit back, right? Well, there's no reason for it to be a lull. And again, I hope y'all, what you guys see as we go through this webinar today is really some ideas so that we can kind of flush that idea of a holiday lull. Let's call it what it is. It's an opportunity. That's what Q5 is. And we're going to touch on some things today that we hope are actionable for you guys to be able to take into your marketplaces and just make it so that really there is no lull. Don't talk about the lull. There is no lull. Okay, so Brooke, really got some good content here. I want to kind of tee you up. So let's talk about it. Like at the end of the day, if we're going to sell, you got to have some resources to be able to do that. So let's talk about what some of those are, and how that's can really kind of drive that growth into that mythical but demystified Q5.
Yes, of course. So again, we're talking as Q5 as one, that opportunity to get some final revenue across the board. So when you have case studies, I know we reference our case studies a lot. Advertisers want to see real world examples, proof of performance, but especially during this time, I feel like in the holidays, everyone's comparing, advertisers are comparing themselves to each other. And they're like, hey, like, what is someone just like me doing right now? So having a case study and kind of coming equipped with that is going to be crucial, whether it's to get revenue this year or just kind of like putting a case study for one of your clients just to kind of get their wheels moving of like an opportunity they could do beginning of Q1. So I think with the case studies too, I think a huge part of marketing is always going to be storytelling, and case studies really allow for that storytelling in a more visually appealing way that allows makes it actually more emotional for your client. And we actually have, oh, can you go back, Ken?
Sure.
And then we do have case studies available at AdCellerant. But of course, let's say, you're not a partner of ours yet. This is also a great time for you to look back on your year to be making case studies of your own actions that y'all have done.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah. And then now we can go to the next one. I'm not really going to run into this case study too much, but just wanted to show y'all like, versus just talking about your successes, having like a really organized way that says, hey, this was our problem. This is the amount of time that we did this like campaign for and what products we use, whether it's, display, performance max, whether it's going to be device ID, whatever that product mix is, then that potential client of yours can be like, hey, like maybe I can do that as well. And then obviously when you see the results and see those numerical numbers, such as like 8-to-1 ROAS, the nearly 74,000 orders, that just definitely makes it more emotional and more of a storyteller to the client.
Yeah, and again, guys, as we get further on in the webinar, if we go back to our agenda, kind of our last item there, obviously some of the hot verticals for the tail end of the year and into January and February. So we are actually going to dive. We got about a half a dozen real world case studies that we're going to talk about, try to tee you guys up on some of these hot verticals so you can get in your markets and shake the bushes for some more revenue.
And of course, we also have industry trend guide. So this is going to be huge because it shows your advertiser, hey, like I've done a little bit of research on your industry and what's working well in it right now. So in our academy, we do have these industry selling guides, which are always great to just show what people are responding to right now. So you can always download those. And you can actually even do bundle recommendations to make it a little easy on the next slide.
Yeah,
Uh,
and little addition here, Brooke. The one thing I love about the industry guides, having used these on the streets. Look, y'all, we're all in sales here, right? You have to make it about the customer, right? So how do you make it about the customer? Well, if you show up with an industry guide that, again, Brooke, as you referenced, that shows that you've kind of done your research. Well, maybe you haven't done your research, but we've done it for you. You're welcome. Slap your logo on there and roll. Again, you're making it about them. You're showing that you have interest in their industry, their business. And that's just so crucial to, like, again, showing them that you're there with solutions and not just product selling what you got in your back pocket.
Yeah, very true. And for the product bundle recommendations, I feel like this is a huge key five like thing to use, excuse me, because if someone does want to do advertisement for like this remainder that we have in December, sometimes they're like, I don't know what to do, but we've already in these industry selling guides, like let's say this is an example of a restaurant, we've already told them like, hey, we see that email blast device ID and like, targeted display are all like huge right now for restaurants. So it's just that if you make it easier for your client, maybe that makes it easier for them to sign on with you and just say, hey, I want to choose that one. Those are the products I want to choose. Let's go. So that's just another way to show that you've kind of taken time to make things easier on your client as well.
Yeah, and I love it because these blends, again, while, they are giving you kind of a little bit of a template in terms of the sales, you see there's like some good product mix in here. So, they can kind of pick their poison, so to speak. So, okay. All right. So that's good stuff. So next we really need to dive into, how do we connect to that revenue quick? And obviously there's some additional resources we can lean in to be able to do that. So, Brooke, why don't you kind of take us on a little tour here?
Yes. So for the rest, I know we're kind of coming to, the mid part of December and we got still a little bit to go. So doesn't mean that, it's over and we got to just hang it up till next year. There are certain products that work really, really quickly or that we have a fast turnaround time for that are very, very effective. The first one is going to be programmatic email. Again, this is one of my favorite products. Everyone knows that. I'm pretty vocal about it. It's going to have, again, that quick turnaround time. We can do the creative for you at a very fair cost, but you also can get ads in front of people that were like in market for what it is that your client is trying to sell. So there's so much targeting that goes into email, and you can say, if someone's recently looking for a bicycle, we can get an email in front of that person from a very curated database. And emails just in general, I feel like they're great because you get so much like real estate, if we're going to call it, like so much space of that ad that you can put in like your deals, your information, everything, but it's also easily shareable like with your friends. So you can say like, oh, like, let's go check this out. Or if your friend likes bicycles, you could send that to them. So emails gets really, really popular this time of the year.
Yeah, and Brooke, I think the thing that I would add to that, obviously what we've seen, again, across our 600 media partners, explosive growth in email. Like, I, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, I thought email marketing was like it was done. Could not have been more wrong. Like, our campaigns just continue to explode. The advertisers love it because there's so many great metrics in here. So you get to see open rates. There's some real trackability to it. So there's accountability to the ad spend, and the advertisers love it. And again, we just continue to see explosive growth in our third-party email products. So yeah, I love that one, and I'm glad you led off with it. But obviously, there are other products.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like display is amazing in the holiday season. There's such a fun, visual appealing part of programmatic display, which is so important for branding and awareness. So again, going to be very cost effective, also with a fast turnaround time because we're trying to get this for the end of the year, get y'all some revenue that way. And the targeting, as we were just talking about how specific we can get with targeting with email, we can get very specific audience and even markets to get your ads in front of the exact right person and just really hone in on that branding and awareness, which is huge. And then you can also do site and search retargeting with that programmatic display. So if someone is kind of flirting with your website and they're on it and you're like, you know what, I see you're here. I want to send you another ad again and bring you back. So definitely a great one that we can get going very fast for you.
Also, a great time of the year for lazy guys like me. Got my feet up watching TV, and I'm on my phone constantly. So you want to reach my eyeballs? You got a captive audience, right?
Very true. And then finally for device ID, I think this one is specifically good for the end of the year rush. One, because it has that fast turnaround time and there's a lot of people out and about right now, whether it's holiday shopping, whether it's they're just checking out, walking around town. A lot of people are out and about. So we have a lot of data that we can collect when we're geofencing certain areas, whether that's a mall, whether that's a Home Depot. And you can target people who have been somewhere as early as 72 hours ago up to a full year ago. So someone just recently who might have been in Home Depot, we can go ahead and send ads to them because we still got time in December to, really make some sales there for your client. And you can get your advertisement in front of people who are already taking the action that we want them to take, right? Where they're already out and about and it's already showing intent. And then also, I just think there's great reporting at the end of the year. I know a lot of y'all get on reporting calls. Your clients want to know, like, hey, like, what did we do this year? Like, what's been going on? So I think that the reporting that comes with device ID can be some of the most special because you can do that audience insight report prior, but then the all encompassing foot traffic attribution report that we have. I have a picture of the foot traffic attribution report actually, so you can see, who was served the ad that actually came into location, which is like prime time for your clients.
Yeah, we'll give you guys a little visual on that here in a second. One thing I do want to add here, Brooke, like
Yeah.
device ID to me is incredibly powerful, and our tool is is really kind of at the top of its game in my opinion because we can really do two things at once, which is crazy that we can do it, but that's the technology. And as you said, like we can curate an audience from you know I just still blows my mind that we can go a year back in time and curate these audiences. But then if you're like, well, no, I want to reach people based on where they are, like right now, like where are they at? Are they in the mall? Like right now, I want to deliver ads to them. We can do it now, or we can do it in the past. And just the fact that we've got that flexibility, yeah, our retailers in particular absolutely love that. So again, Brooke, again, visuals are so important in this business, being able to tell that story of success. Talk about this report and how advertisers love it.
Yeah, the foot traffic attribution report is just going to be amazing because it's showing, how many unique responders and total visits came based off that ad. So who was served the ad that actually came into their like, physical location. And then you can kind of just get some more details, such as like the visits by the weekday. You can kind of see like which days are getting more people than other. And then you can also see who the ad was served to, like what location we were geofencing and which one of them came into the store. So in this example, responses by target audience, we have in this example like Walmart, the Hideout, different places. So like which one of those specific ones came in. And
So we
then yeah,
know we know who was targeted, where they were sourced,
yeah,
and
where
then
there's
we know that they actually showed up in this business as a conversion. Crazy.
yeah, and I think it's just a huge thing that helps clients kind of just feel comfortable. They know where their ads, they know it's working. It's a report that makes everyone feel real good.
Amen. Okay, so next section here, which again we kind of teased it at the beginning, which is again at Celerant we've got this fantastic like order management system, media planning product that is absolutely nuts. A lot of AI tools built in, but at the end of the day, again, as I said at the beginning, I really feel like the magic here is the humans. The humans still matter, right? So I want you to talk a little bit about how we bring the experts to the table and what we really do to kind of make again, the media cash register ring.
Yes. So audits, audits, audits. You will never hear me not talking about audits. So for SEO and SEM, getting an audit for your client, first of all, is going to build your client's trust in you because again, it's not about you, it's about them. It says, hey, here is your current digital footprint. This is what you're showing up for online. And a lot of times you'll see big eyes. It's like, oh, why am I showing up for that keyword? Or why is that like happening? So I think kind of really giving someone just like a raw, like, this is what's going on with you is always very like seems very caring to the client. But of course, you can like make those recommendations just to lead them in the right direction. And getting audits also helps you to be consultative because a lot of times clients don't know what they don't know. So like if they're local SEO and their phone number's wrong or like they're not showing up or something, there's a broken link somewhere, then they don't know that. So you in that consultation, you can say, hey, these are things that I just think you should know. And kind of just, sets you up for, again, that trustworthy relationship. And finally, like, let's say like you put an audit out in Q5, like in this December, and maybe that doesn't turn around immediately. Like, people got to think people are still in the holidays, doing their fun. But an audit given in Q5, once the dust is settled in Q1, most likely those clients that you have sent these audits to are going to be like, hey, like, I think that this is showing some pretty interesting information, and I think I am going to reach back. So again, as much as we want to get as much revenue now, we also want to plant those seeds to have things going on in January 1.
Yeah, the other thing I would add here, Brooke, is, and again, kind of back to humans. So first of all, the audits that we provide on SEO and SEM, yeah, we do use some technology and some tools to be able to, kind of scan and analyze, but it's not 100% technology. We actually have human beings in our earned and owned department that put their eyeballs on it. They really kind of dive in. Get into the analysis, break it down, make it a conversation so that we can present that audit through you as the media salesperson out there, y'all, to your customer, and we'll get alongside you on those calls with our product experts. So again, the human aspect of this is really, really important, and we provide those audits to our current partners for free, and they're incredibly detailed. So I think that's a great resources. But again, Brooke, keep talking about the humans because I'm telling you, this is like my thing. This is my vibe. I love the fact that we really that we're just not like these people in a chat screen on our platform. That like humans will help.
Yes, absolutely. So this last one is always very important in my eyes. So having a team member on a reporting call, like absolutely, we would love to have our team members on your sales calls. We were just talking about doing them for SEO audits. So there's so many times, but people sometimes forget, like when you have a reporting call, there's like a lot of emotion and there's a lot of decisions being made on reporting calls. So we have found that if you do have an AdCellerant team member on your call, you have about a 30% higher success rate of to close the deal, the renewal, the upgrade, whatever it is. But I do feel like with these reporting calls, which is similar, if the same spec is for reporting calls, because you can paint the picture of like your client's ROAS and help with year-end renewals just by saying like, hey, look at what we did, and like maybe we can adjust it, maybe we can make some changes. But those reporting calls are where a lot of decisions are made. And like it's also sometimes just nice to have someone else on the call. So, let us, wow your client when they ask like, how did my advertising perform this year? Like, what did we even do? We've all heard it before, and it's like they want an answer. And it's like, let us be the ones to really like paint that picture for them, again, with the storytelling to match up with the reporting. And then recently, I don't know if y'all have heard of like quarterly business reviews. I know a lot of companies are doing that now. We'll even jump on those with you too, because again, when the reporting comes out, a lot of decisions come out as well.
Yeah, I love all that, Brooke, and again, to me, the value of having a human help tell the story, because at the end of the day, we can be completely transparent in our reporting, right? And our dashboards are wide, they're deep, they just a ton of data, but data doesn't renew campaigns, right? Success and the feeling of success and like being able to lean into a story, that's what makes that mom and pop business down there on Main Street USA go, Yeah, okay, let's roll for another month. Here's your check for $1,500 for next month. So yeah, again, I think there's the support that's provided there is so huge.
Absolutely, and you've let me kinda go on my soapbox all about the things of how we are offering. So why don't you tell us more about the verticals that are hot for Q1?
Yeah, yeah. So let's dive into like some real world stuff, guys, because again, y'all are out there, you're in your markets. These are businesses that you guys have got in your leads lists and hopefully got some personal relationships with that you can kind of lean into. So I want to cover about a half a dozen here on the tail end of our webinar. And try to kind of tee you guys up with some ideas. So, finance is one of the ones that we definitely see some increased activity this time of the year. So that's going to cover everything from like, banking industry, people looking at kind of cleaning up and kind of reevaluating their investments. Obviously, with the election now in the rear view, people are kind of looking at, okay, so what's going on in the new year? So great time to touch those types of financial planners, investment brokers, et cetera. And then obviously we're rolling into tax season. So this is the time of year those tax preparation companies really start cranking up. So I think we can get in the door and hammer those guys. Lawyers, man, these guys spend a ton of money on digital. We see it all across the country and tons of campaigns on our platform. And we do see a spike in their spending this time of the year. A lot of it is kind of that accidental stuff, slips and falls in the wintertime, unfortunately. But definitely an opportunity to go knock on some of those doors. And then education. Man, my daughter's 18. Our mailbox is overflowing with colleges spending a ton of money on mail. My phone, they know I'm a dad of an 18-year-old girl that's planning college. My phone's blowing up with targeted ads and just kind of nonstop stream. So these universities, these colleges, these private institutions, man, they are spending, and now is the time to go out and start talking to them. Great time of the year. Okay, so let's give like just a few specifics here. So on the finance side, so this particular case study was for a credit union. The thing that really jumps out at me here, guys, now this was a 3-month campaign, pretty sizable investment. Obviously, it was a kind of a larger group, multi-locations. But man, look at the activity. That's what really jumps out at me here. The activity that was driven. So over 1,300 apply now. Now, look, at the end of the day, these credit unions, these banks, they're looking for loans, they're looking for direct contact with consumers. So, man, that spend, while it was significant, look at the activity that it drew. Over 1,300 clicks. Appointment setting. I mean, again, over 1,300 there. So massive. So you look at the loan origination that likely would have come out of that, even with even a moderate closing percentage, literally millions and millions of dollars. So really huge deal here. So guys, if you got banks, and credit unions, anybody that's in the kind of the loan business, great time of the year to go knock on the door, wish them a Merry Christmas, and tell them, hey, everybody's broke because they spent all their money on Christmas. Let's load them up with loans for the beginning of the year. Okay, again, kind of what I referenced earlier, Brooke, legal. Lawyers, man, they just spend a ton of money in the digital space. This particular case study I love because, again, every industry is looking for different things. Like what you had talked about earlier, the retailers, hey, they love that device ID because they know people are shopping and they're trying to draw them into their bar, their restaurant, their retail location. Well, what the lawyers want, man, they need those form fills. Like they need people plugging in and saying, yeah, I need your help. So again, I think this one, yeah, 6-month campaign, 92 grand in ad spending, pretty solid spend there. But man, look at the activity, 112 form fills. That's huge in that space. Ton of sessions, drove activity to their website. So really a great spend there. And again, as you kind of referenced earlier, where did this likely begin, Brooke? This began where you referenced earlier. At some point, a media person audited this lawyer's website and said, "Hey, if you leaned into our SEO, we could probably drive some revenue generating activity, right?"
Yeah,
So it began really, before this, it began where you referenced, which was, at some point they were audited.
yeah.
And then again, education, huge spending. Again, my mailbox is full, my phone's blowing up. And man, these colleges, they spend money. Unfortunately, we know university, it's probably why I lost all my hair. Um, Third kid through college, it is incredibly expensive, but because it's incredibly expensive, they're willing to spend a ton of money on it. So really, really great ad spending here. And again, look what was driven. 8 months spend, a little less than 40 grand a month in digital, but look what it drove. 6.7, almost $7 million in revenue with tuition, et cetera. So I mean, obviously, like a massive opportunity.
I think that there's a few more actually, Ken. Looks like we got entertainment, cannabis, automotive that are hot this year. Talk to me.
I got to keep talking. There should be coffee in this because
What?
I got to roll through these case studies. Okay, so yeah, more industry. So let's kind of cover three more. And again, what I love about these, and again, we picked them because not just at random, but we looked. We went to our sales teams and said, okay, guys, tell us what is hot, what's moving on the platform this time of the year. So again, this is three more, and I know all of y'all out there across the country, whatever state, whatever market you're in, small town, medium city, big city, you guys have ton of prospects. So like again, Q5, there is no lull, guys. There's no lull. You guys have prospects in these categories. Let's go talk to them. So again, entertainment really never ends. There's tons going on this time of year. You can guys see some of those categories. Cannabis, I'm going to speak to that a little bit. Some of y'all are in weed legal states, some of y'all are not. One of the things I would say here, you know, legislative sessions are, cranking up in the new year. And it seems like every year states are adding cannabis, they're adding legalized gambling. So keep an eye on like what's going on in your state. If you can get ahead of the curve, if legalization is coming, man, be ready. Lean into companies like ours. Look, we're a Denver-based company. We've been in the cannabis marketing business basically since the beginning. So we can certainly help in that space. So cannabis is definitely a big one. And then automotive. There's a huge push into December in the automotive space. I was actually in this world on the marketing side for about a decade. December is huge, but they really don't recognize a lull now anymore either. They really roll right into January, and they start with the New Year's, the New Year's sales, and then everybody's looking ahead to those tax returns coming out in February. The money's in the marketplace and off and running. So auto dealers are also another great group. So let's go into again some case studies. This is great to be able to walk into a business again. Brooke, you teed it up really, really well earlier. You know, going in and calling on somebody is great, but when you can come in and put something like this in front of them and go, look, I have something that worked. If it worked for these guys, it could work for you. So this, for these case studies are so valuable. But these guys had a dining and entertainment venue. They leaned into that product that you talked about earlier, Brooke. That device ID that's it's kind of creepy
That's
that we
great.
can find those devices. We got you, and then feed them. So obviously, what was great for these guys was, again, you talked about it so well, that foot traffic attribution report. So not only were these guys leaning into that with programmatic display and adding some of, again, the curated device ID look back data, but also like microprocs, where are they today? Try to give them ads, pull them into my business. Well, look, it worked. 382 people tracked, can't get around it, tracked those devices into that business, kind of across the finish line, which is that business's geofence. So, I mean, you take that 382. I don't know everything about this business, but I know at a dining and entertainment venue, average tickets is probably like $100. So, I mean, you start to do the math on that. Obviously, a fantastic ad spend. Again,
Mhm.
cannabis, great time of the year. I mean, let's be honest, cannabis is strong all year round, but we do see a spike in marketing here in the holiday season. What I love here about this particular case study and campaign is they leaned into one of the new products that we launched this year, which is incredibly powerful, which is streaming TV combined with addressable geofencing. So think about that for a minute, y'all, how powerful that can be. Imagine being able to go to a business like we did here, or one of our partners did here, and said, okay, what houses, what neighborhoods do you want to reach? Tell me where they are, and I can geofence those addresses and then deliver streaming TV ads to those folks sitting in their living room. Crazy. We were able to do that, obviously, delivered a ton of impressions, almost 2 million, almost 1,000 conversions to this particular cannabis company's website. So incredibly powerful. Brooke, I know you spent some time in this industry. You have any other thoughts on this?
Yeah, since this is already going to be, it sounds like a hot industry to go after in Q1. I always like say I do have like a pretty extensive background working with cannabis marketing, and I think it's just to always focus in on special dates that are coming up that are related to cannabis. So, for example, New Year's Eve is a very, very high consumption or like purchasing time for cannabis. So, kind of lean into that and see like what people are doing. And then also like there's a lot of emotion that goes into these advertising products for cannabis owners. So or cannabis, excuse me, company owners. So, being able to do streaming TV, like the whole concept, I always laugh and say it's like, look, mom, I'm on TV. Like cannabis never used to be able to do that. So you really can hit like some nice, emotional ties and trust with your clients by saying, hey, like because like we all know cannabis wasn't always able to get like the best metrics. They weren't able to advertise all everywhere. Like they never really had it easy when it comes to advertising. So saying, hey, I can do device ID and tell you, these competitors that like people are going to, what they're doing, and then I can show you how many people actually now came into your dispensary. Like that's stuff that was unheard of a matter of like, a few years ago. So the more high quality products we have, even like email, where we can target people in market for CBD and cannabis. I think just really like creating that emotional picture with them that they'll always really, really excited about.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I would add here, Brooke, is, again, AdCellerant as a company has been way, way, way ahead of the curve. We were really early on kind of figuring out and navigating how to legally, keyword, legally, with
Mhm.
compliance, deliver those ads. So we do have an alt network that allows us to be able to lean into these products completely legal. We're reaching users that are over the age of 21, et cetera. So yeah, we've got that back end figured out as well. So but again, what I referenced earlier, guys, even if you're not in a legal state right now, just keep an eye on the news. Every year seems like a couple, 3 or 4 states will add it. It's always on the calendar. You know when it's coming. So if you can plan for it, man, you can absolutely cash in here. Okay. Last case study, automotive. Again, I was about a decade in this business. Um, again, tough business, but man, just an economic driver in all these markets. Auto dealers really drive a ton of revenue and really have kind of tentacles all out into the community in terms of what they do and drive with their sales side. So, what I love about this particular case study, we are seeing through our platforms and our media partners around the country explosive growth in video. Okay, it's just absolutely growing like crazy. And again, that powerful product that we've launched in the last year, the addressable streaming TV. So again, being able to literally plug in individual households and then deliver ads to those households. I will say this, like I'm an old newspaper guy, Brooke. That's my background. And, I was always a little jealous of the TV people. They can kind of lean into, hey, we'll put, go to my dealer that I'm running ads with, and they can kind of shine them up and hey, we're going to get you on TV and do these big ad spends. Well, what's really cool about where we are in 2024, man, everything has come full circle. Like we can all sell these streaming products. And the thing that really jumps out at me on this case study that again is like mind blowing, the old school, before we cut the cable TV ads, you'd run these ads. Were they being seen? Were the eyeballs on that channel when the ad ran? Exactly how many? Like there was some, wonkiness to kind of measuring that. It was always a challenge. The cool thing about streaming is like everything is measured. So that's almost 99% of the ads were seen to completion. Because obviously you're watching on Hulu or wherever, you can't skip you can't skip that ad. So these ads are being seen. So what an incredible value to this dealer to be able to go to them, sell them that campaign, and be able to say, look, almost 100% of your ads are going to be seen. And then look at the numbers. I mean, the traffic that it drove, the ad sales, actual matched ad sales, because we can do match back with their CRMs. So like actually being able to prove out that that $118,000 investment was absolutely worth it. Boom, there it is right there. So again, being able to drop a case study like this on a dealer's desk at this time of the year, again, they don't want a lull. I guarantee you auto dealers don't want no lull. So be able to drop this in and go, hey, hope you had a great December, but hey, let's talk about keeping this thing rolling into January and February. And
Thank
Brooke,
you.
kind of ending where we began. So
Yeah.
kind of button us up here on Q5 and how this is so important.
Yes, again, we want to, reiterate the importance of Q5, whether it's getting that last minute revenue. There's definitely going to be fast turnaround products. Those are going to be email, display, device ID, very effective this time of year, and we can get them up and running real quick. We can even do the creatives for you. The whole we're going to start next year Q5 like thing. This is going to be something that we're trying to move away from. Like everyone obviously deserves, their days of vacation, but there's a lot of strategic moves that you can be making that sets you up so that January isn't like that slow month that we all don't want it to be. And then case studies, industry selling guides, coming to the table with something, that says, hey, this has worked for somebody else. This is a story about somebody else that worked that I've run. And then also saying like, this is what these are how people are responding in your industry. This is how the consumer is acting. Again, everyone loves research that has to do with their brand and what they're focusing on. And I think leaning into your team. So whether it's your team, whether it's our AdCellerant team, we would love to be on those reporting calls with you because I feel like those are more happening right now to talk. And like sometimes those are even more lucrative than a sales call. So have us on. Don't be afraid. Have us, have your team members go on those reporting calls and really like light that image up and kind of write that story that leads to more renewals. And then again, the audits are going to be a great way just to plant the seeds. We have those easy access on our side, or if you have a way of doing it, making stuff all about the client and showing them that roadmap to a better online appearance is going to be huge. And then there are so many industries that are hot in Q1. So, if you're looking and you're prospecting, like pay attention, to these industries that are showing really promising things for Q1 and, reach out to them.
Yeah, no, I love it. And again, particularly on that last one, again, kind of we talked about going through those case studies. I mean, again, it doesn't have to be a lull, y'all. It really doesn't. Like lean into it. It is a mental mindset, guys. Like Q5, just call it Q5 and line up these activities. Again, lean into those resources. Show up with case studies, show up with industry guides, show up with audits, like all of the above. We can stay we can stay busy between now and the end of the year and really tee up next year for huge sales success. So, guys, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, you can throw that in the chat. We'll hang out here for probably another minute or so, but really appreciate. We had a great crowd in here today. Really appreciate you guys taking some time to join us here in the holidays. I've got my AI generated Christmas background, so hopefully I'm passing along a little festivity and holiday spirit to you guys. But wherever you are in the country, whatever your faith, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all of it. Enjoy the time with your families. Keep your loved ones close. Um, tip an eggnog or two on Christmas Eve, and you guys have a great holiday season. Brooke, I don't have any questions in the chat, so you wanna sign us off?
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much. Y'all have a great holiday and thank you for your kind words in the chat.
Thanks, guys. Have a great time. See ya.
Bye.